What's good, y'all? I hope you can hear me okay. Thanks for coming by tonight, everyone. Um, Let me know if y'all can hear me in the chat, please. Hey, hey, Loco. Hey, Tracy. Hey, Stinson. Natural. I'm just acknowledging each and every one of you. And honestly, y'all, I hope the numbers stay low. I as some of y'all might know, I'm low key introverted type. I don't typically do this, but it was some things I wanted to address today because I thought that it was needed. It's needed, especially with the um the influx of women that are now speaking out about their experiences at carbonation. Good evening, everybody. Hey, Blossom. Hey, Natural Beauty. This chat be moving. Oh my God. Hey, Nicole. Hey, Kim. Mystery. Hey, chat. Peace and love to everybody. But yeah, I just wanted to address some things because, you know, just with like I said, with the influx of ladies that love carbonation that have been speaking out lately, I've noticed a shift in the energy of not only the chat rooms and the live premieres that I've been doing, but also in the comments. And a lot of people have been coming for me. Like, really? Like y'all don't know me? Hey, melanated. Love you, girl. Shut up, loco. Y'all not about to get scolded. I just want to tell you guys where I'm coming from and let you guys kind of have an understanding of what I kind of don't have to tolerate, I guess. And I guess I feel that way because there's so many people that cover carbonation that there are a lot of options. It's a ton of, like, you have a ton of channels that you can go to. If any of y'all have noticed, I haven't really been posting like Nature Boys lives too much lately, and that's on purpose. And I probably won't be posting like any more of his full lives or anything like that unless I like clip them up and do like memory lanes and contradictions and hypocrisy and all of that good stuff. So that's one of the main reasons why y'all haven't really seen that. So I have been posting a lot of the ex members lives more so because my channel is all about awareness, and I noticed that even with posting his full lives, it brings with it a lot of dark energy, a lot of negative energy. And I know a lot of people always say like, hey, like, T, sometimes you're mean with how you moderate comments, and you're not letting me, like, this one person, for example, had the nerve to tell me that they were upset and they stopped coming to the live premieres because of the way that I moderate the comments when the ex members speak out. So basically, they just want to be able to talk crazy even when the ex members leave in the same manner that they would be talking if it was a Nature Boy live. That's completely counterproductive to what I'm trying to do with my channel. It's my channel. It's mine. I started this channel for a specific reason, and sometimes I even go back and I watch some of the old videos where I only have like 200 views, 400 views, and I can do these memory lanes because so many people haven't seen these videos. And it's great because now there are so many people that are aware and that watch my channel that I can bring this old footage back, because people are just looking at like 2019, the middle to the latter part of 2019 and then all of 2020, when so much was so different than like Mexico. Palenque was a crazy, crazy time for carbonation. And when they were in Palenque, Mexico, you got to see a lot of the grooming of all of the women there, all of them. So it's like even when you see like how the women conduct themselves now with this fall our faux this faux ego, they're so confident now. They're they feel like they can teach women something, and they feel that they're holier than thou. If anyone was following them when they were in Mexico, these women were broken, battered. They still are, but it was like every other live, they were being berated. They were being verbally abused, psychologically abused, sexually abused. I have had at least three videos removed from my YouTube channel just on like the way that he used to be with Efaru. A lot of the sexual content in those Instagram lives from way back when Aya and Ra got put out, and they were literally just looking like horrible. So I look at it now, and I still see that there's a ton of abuse going on there. But we also saw the quote unquote journey that these people took, and we see how they got to where they're at now. And it doesn't move me emotionally when they try to preach to the Babylonians about how wonderful their life is, because we all know, if we've been following that long, what they all went through. There was a time when, and it's still the same now, when Nature Boy didn't even like Efaru, for instance. He still doesn't like her. He tells people that he doesn't like her. And I watched her go through so much emotional and even sexual abuse. Same with Aya. There was a time when Aya couldn't even express herself. She couldn't even form a sentence without getting emotional. And then when she would get emotional, she would get berated for it on live. So a lot of people, they just like started tuning in, or they're like they've been watching the Bigo lives, or they were watching when they were when Atlanta, Hawaii, all these different places, and they didn't kind of see the degression of a lot of these carbonation members and the things that they would go through. And so I'm not emotionally attached to anything that they try to say now. And so you don't, I guess I've kind of shifted as well in my perception and in some of the things that I allow on the channel. I think there was a time when all these women were still in the cult, and I would just let people just sound off, like say whatever you want. But I have a moral compass, and I'm starting to understand that my channel does have a reach. um and everybody who kind of really knows where I came from and how I started knows that I have never done this for clout. I don't care about no views. If it was 10 people in this room, I will be straight. I promise you. I don't do this for money. I've always done it for my own purposes, which is to document a cult, the most unbelievable moments in the cult initially, and just spreading awareness about the fact that this cult exists, because I knew that it would have an impact on especially the conscious part of the Black community. Most Black people don't know about carbonation, contrary to popular belief. They really don't. And so, yeah, you know what, guys? Something did happen on Bigo. Let me see. That video is uploading right now. And after this live, this is going to be a shorter live because I thought it was going to be longer, but the big explosion on Bigo happened. And then I was like, let me do this video real quick. It's like an hour long. And then I'm gonna do a live premiere of that video after. But anyway, like I was saying, a lot of people like have started to question like where my loyalties lie for some reason, as if I'm trying to protect people and why won't you let me? It's like kind of like whiny to an extent. Like, why are you concerned with how I'm moderating my comments? And why are you so upset that I won't let you be nasty all the time? There's a way to be constructively critical. And just when you're being just uninformed and negative, and your comments resemble something that Nature Boy would say, it sickens me. It literally disgusts me. And it's hard sometimes for me to moderate hundreds of comments, literally hundreds of comments a day. I'm either approving comments or there's be a ton of comments stuck in the moderators tab that I have to approve. And sometimes I'm just like, damn, these people sound just like Nature Boy. And they don't even get it. And so I'm thinking like, wow, am I adding to this negativity by just allowing people to just say whatever the fuck they want? Excuse my French. I curse. So I have to follow my own moral compass. I have to follow my own intuition. That's something that I'm learning in life, is that I cannot let my actions be swayed by the opinions of other people. And I've never been a follower. I've always been kind of like a background. I wouldn't even call myself a leader. I just like to be in the background, kind of analyzing and kind of, playing a part in the direction and the leadership of things, making things happen. And so I try not to block people, you know, but there are a lot of people blocked. I have blocked a lot of people, and it's usually just because they've been disrespectful to either other chatters or other commenters, or blatantly disrespectful to me. And so I'm just starting to follow my instincts now, guys. And I just wanted to really have that moment with everybody, just to let you guys know where I'm coming from, and to let you know that yes, there has been a shift in my energy, because I called myself out. I just had to call myself out and really be honest with myself. Like, am I adding to the problem, or am I really helping? So I love my block list. Like, everybody, sometimes I'll take people off to give them another chance, because the funny thing about YouTube, and I think Stinson can probably attest to this, is that when you get blocked, I think the only way that you know that you're blocked is that you either can't maybe you can reply to a comment. I'm not really sure, but I know for sure that no one else is going to be able to see your comments, your comments. So you might be just typing them comments, and if you could probably tell if no one ever up likes it or anything, like nobody replies to it. So if you're used to getting replies and likes because of you being nasty and negative, and then all of a sudden that stops, it's probably because you've been blocked. So yes, self accountability. I've had to really become more accountable for what I am allowing to kind of get through. And just with so many people leaving, like, and I've even had these this kind of discussions with other channel holders before. Sometimes people try to say that I'm controlling, and I'm like, well, am I not supposed to control this little channel that I've built up with the help of all of you over the years? It's okay to logo. Don't give them tips. What are you doing? OMG. I'm about to put you on timeout. I'm just playing. No, but like, but seriously, it is a sheep mentality, and it takes is one. And that's another thing that I've noticed, is that it's people just run with things sometimes. So it's okay if you're like calling people out, if you're calling these ex members out, but it's like once they leave, call them out, fine. But to still vilify them and prove Allegio right, I feel that I'm being counterproductive. That's how I feel. And I don't want to do that anymore. Love, son, trust me, I am very blessed. But Stinson, you're right. I'm not trying to please anybody. And I had to kind of take it back. I'm like, you know what? The only person that I'm not even trying to please myself. I just want to do what I set out to do and leave it at that. Like I used to just post clips or post the videos, set it and forget it. So I love going back to the older videos when I had like 200 viewers or 200 views, 300 views, 10 comments, because all of those people, they know exactly what was going on from the beginning. Like there's this one, I don't know if they're in the room, but there's this one person named Space Case, I think, and I was like, wow, they've been watching on my channel for a long time now, and they still comment even now. And so they've been able to see the journey of a lot of these people coming and going, and I think that's pretty cool. So it's not like they're just now getting into this whole carbonation cult drama, not understanding that this is a cult, and the way that they move now is so different than how they moved before. It was Mexico was like a ride. It was a crazy ride. And we got to see a lot of the abuse just play out almost in movie form. It was almost like a documentary on themselves, like American Horror, Carbonation Cult documentary. Yeah, Mexico was crazy. How did I stumble into carbonation? Through Young Pharaoh. I used to watch all Young Pharaoh's debates. So see, people think that just because I don't really like do commentary and I don't voice my opinions, that I don't have strong opinions, but that couldn't be farther from the truth. The truth is I have very strong opinions and I love to debate. I just don't have time to debate 100 people every day. And so most of the time I might respond to a comment and I might never go back to it just because I don't have the time. And that's just the truth. That's the truth of the matter. So yeah, Mexico was really stressful. It was terrible. All of the women there, even the ones now, like Aya and Efru, they've been through a lot. They've been through a lot. Yes, Aries have strong opinions. So we're very nice, but if you light a fire under us, we will, respond in kind. We might torch you, but then we'll come back around. I have no problem apologizing when I'm wrong and coming full circle because I know how us Aries are, and that's why a lot of times I would typically let comments go because I'm just like, you know what? I know that if I invest my energy into debating this, it could go ongoing, and then I might just blow up at the person and mute them. So let me just let them go off and leave it alone. I'll let somebody else, some other reasonable commenter, respond to it and let it be what it is. So that's usually how it is. And I guess it's hard nowadays to ask people to be respectful. I mean, even with YouTube, one of the one of their requirements is that you follow the community guidelines. And if you really want to keep it real, some of the people that make comments about this cult situation, y'all know y'all don't be following community guidelines. So don't play. But yeah, this cult has gone from bad to worse, and it's been crazy. I see someone in the that wants to come up on the panel. It looks like their channel name is Cult Education. Um, I don't know. I'll see if you're still there and see what you have to say. But I beat you up for a few days, Black. I didn't mean to. Sometimes when you're reading so much negativity, it kind of maybe sort of a little bit could transfer into your subconscious, and you kind of like are just like, you know what? You want to be negative? I'm going to be negative too because you're being mean and I don't like that. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to see if I can put the link up. Trying to get a little bit better at this. Okay, if you want to come up, there's the link. You can sound off. Blossom Bloom, you so sweet. I do as I please. I do. It's so funny because sometimes in the comments, people be like, I say what I want to say. I do what I want. I'm like, why would you ever go on somebody's channel and say that? Like, that is silly. I'm not going to, hey, Berta, love you. I'm not going to go on somebody's channel and be like, I can just say whatever I want to say. I can just talk crazy and nothing's going to happen. Like, really? Your ass is going to get blocked. I mean, unless people don't mind like taking that into their subconscious. It's like, if that's what you want to do, then do that. But respect people's space, respect people's wishes and just be respectful, period. Exactly, melanated. It's so easy. Oh wow, T Sam. Yeah, you've been oh wow. Yeah, you've been watching for a while. Like getting kicked off that plane. I mean, that pretty much validates anybody who ever went over there and was like, they stink. That's why he has a suitcase full of oils, I guess, to mask the smell because all he does is mask his funk. He just can't mask his funky attitude and his funky face and funky bald spot and all that other stuff. But wow, Alicia, I was recommended. That's cool. I hope that all of the videos that you watched never made you want to even have an inkling of interest of going over there, honestly. So this this live video is really for the people that had a problem with the way that I'm moderating and have a problem with the way that I respond to some of the comments and have a problem with the way that I kind of just am an advocate for women who've been abused. And mods, please feel free to mute or block anyone who's disrespectful in the chat. I know that my mods are so cool, you guys. Like they have rarely ever blocked anyone ever. And I think I blame myself because I feel like I created a monster in a way. So I don't even blame the people that come at me. I blame myself because I feel that I created a monster. And Ree, you can feel the way that you want to feel. The fact that you're in this chat, and I've seen your comments. You actually have a comment that's sitting in my moderation bucket right now. I was trying to decide whether I wanted to approve it or not. I probably gonna leave it in there, you know, since you had something to say. But as long as you're respectful, you will not be blocked and kicked from this chat. If you think I'm one-sided, so the fuck what? Because I advocate for women that have been abused, all of them, even if they were abusing each other, they were still getting beat down by a big ass man. Like, what's wrong with you? There's really something, and I feel like some of these women that are so adamant about just really beating down someone who, all of them, not just one woman, all of them. Like, you have to overcome your own issues. You have to look at what you've gone through in your life and kind of like look in the mirror and self-reflect. Why are you okay with wanting to be like that? Like, why do you have such a problem with me wanting to advocate for women who've been abused? Like, don't you think that that's weird? Don't you think that you're the one that has the problem, not me? You think I'm one-sided? You haven't been following long enough. I had to like I literally there was at one point where I had to go through all of my videos, especially the ones where like Velvet was there and she was still there, the times that she would go back, and I would always have some snarky little sarcastic ass title for my video because I was just like, really, you went back? So I would be snarky in my titles. I would really kind of put my opinion out there in my titles, and I was very hard on her. I know there was even one when I was like, wow, you betrayed your family. Like, what the fuck? That's wrong. And I understand that when it comes to women who've been abused, they go through a lot. They go through so much. There's so many levels to this. They go back, they leave, they go back, they leave. It's not much different than what women go through outside of cults. So you're kind of just discounting the psychological effects that are taking place. You just don't care. But I do. So it is what it is. And let's see who is in the queue. Okay, I'm gonna let somebody up in the queue. And if you say anything crazy, you already know what's gonna happen. So please be cool. And someone suggested time limits. So like, I don't know, just don't be trying to talk for a whole hour, please, because we do have a video that is cooking in the oven right now, and it's gonna be a good one. Liddy, um, Nature Boy Eligio did come into Fania's chat, creepy ass man that he is, and tried to throw money at her. You will see what happens if you didn't already see it. So, yes, she is black, exactly. Berta. Okay. Oh, Kofi. Yeah. Okay. I'll let you come in.
Hello, greetings.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Sending you all some positive vibrations from Central America. So I hope
Oh,
everyone.
thank you.
Yeah. So I stay laid
Peace to
back.
you.
I just stay laid back in the cut. Um,
Yeah.
because as I said from day one, this is not entertainment, and I often just sit back and observe how much I think this is a community wide lesson for Black folk, for Afro folk, because it's really just showing us what's been going on for a long time within our community. And there's a lot of stuff that we haven't wanted to acknowledge. So even as you stated, with a lot of women, the bitterness and the hatred. Let's say, for example, for Velvet and other young women. Now, I will admit, there are times watching the screen where you're like yelling at the screen, like, "Are you crazy? Are you stupid?" But they're young women, and it's like we don't have a lot of compassion for abuse. And I don't think most people have encountered personally a con artist. It is not a joke. And many people think that they are beyond being con. I guarantee you, I would even say a vast majority of the people that are watching are encountering these types of patterns within their own life, whether they're in a church or even in their personal relationship or within their whatever their given religion is. These are distinct patterns. So I really don't want to mention their names to give them energy, but I will say this. The young lady, Eliana Velvet, the things that she's been saying recently, almost everything she said is 1,000% on point in her realizations. Period.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I've been
Thousand
realizing.
percent. And I'm saying this as an adult woman, a generation over her, someone that's experienced the cult firsthand with family members, someone who is not ignorant and has just another perspective, having traveled a lot on my own, having had the enough money and resources to travel to Central America on my own. So I see a lot, and I don't say anything because I realized early on that so many of the people that were reporting, many people's ego got caught up. And so even people that were advocating it turned into something else. So a lot of the worst of us, our characteristics all came out. And even in many of the channels that were reporting. So it has been such a massive, heartbreaking, but very real lesson for us. And I think there's so much opportunity for us to, like, as a collective, to grow up. We're immature. Many of us are underdeveloped. I'm not saying this to be insulting at all, but underdeveloped. And every time I hear one of them speak. And again, I don't want to mention their names to give them that kind of energy. But every time I've heard them speak, number one, I would say, oh my gosh, even though the cult I experienced, the cult leader was much older in age, quote unquote, an elder, but we know that elders misuse their position. But the patterns are so spot on, from the white cults to the black cults. The patterns are spot on. So maybe the structure varies a little bit. Maybe the outfits change a little bit. The older cult, they take notes from each other. So, it's really so humbling. Like, quite often I'm like, wow, we can't even see. And we're arguing and yelling at the screen, not even coming in and asking questions. So we're actually really gullible as a collective. And I think that's due to our collective trauma. We are very, very gullible. With all the information that's come out, you can see these cult leaders going to new areas and new platforms, and people immediately start defending folks who they have not vetted, they haven't lived with, because of what they represent. Like, for example, black men will run to defend, as one man has come out and admitted. He's defending because it's another black man, you want to defend them. But as we have seen, a lesson is one, the con will tell you to watch out for other cons. Number two, just because someone, they may have your language or your outfit or something that sounds good to you, you don't know these people on the internet. You just don't know these people. And people are telling these people not to speak. How can any of us, we say just go to therapy. A lot of people don't have access to therapy. And many of us, for good reason, don't trust therapists. So who are we, the anonymous people from behind the screen, to give prescriptions for somebody's healing? So I think that this is a time for us to take a look back at ourselves. As much as we're talking about vanilla supremacy, we can see our own dysfunction. This is an opportunity for us to see our own dysfunction while we are not moving forward as a collective. We have so much dysfunction. We have so much enabling, so much denial that has left us wide. Oh, we are so vulnerable and gullible, period. I see it all the time. It takes my breath away. Just how, if we could just be honest, we're extremely gullible as a collective. We don't even ask questions. We run to the defense of people because they have locks, because they're black. When people are saying knowledge, this is actually, unfortunately, it's basic information. It's not knowledge. If anyone has friends from the Caribbean, I can walk outside now and stand in front of banana trees. It's like watching pigeons in New York. It's not knowledge. So you can see they will constantly go to different audiences where they know that you're green. They know that you will have a quick allegiance for something, and this is what happens a lot of time to a collective of people that have been traumatized. It is what it is. So this is an opportunity for us to grow up and mature and not to be in denial, because the STDs, all of this stuff, we're laughing and joking about our pain. Again, this is something collectively we have been doing for a long time, and people are profiting off of it. So the awareness, everything is the awareness. Because I was like, once I put the awareness out, I put videos out a long time ago. Folks tried to silence me. And I have no intention I'm very clear on being a martyr just for ego, where I'm putting out information to educate folks. And it was quite a lesson to me to be attacked by male and female. Oh, the elder. Oh, our people. No vetting process, no investigation. And when I tell you I went through a protocol, I got so many lessons. One is there is no accountability in our community. There is none for scamming, sexual violation. As much as we want to talk about vanilla supremacy, we don't have any accountability if somebody does something. What are the consequences?
Well, that's the issue. We can't talk about white supremacy without talking about Black accountability in the same breath. Mm-hmm. So that's the real discussion that needs to be had.
So the awareness.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't want to go on and on because so much I could say, but I don't. And for a long time, and again, I will say honestly, as much as sometimes I was frustrated in looking at Velvet before, and even the other members, I saw them here in Central America. I saw these. And it's a lot I'm not even going to say because it falls on deaf ears, because we're also addicted to the entertainment, because we want to be distracted, because if we're not distracted, then we can't, it's not just the elders. It's all of us. We're accountable because there's a lot of grown adults. We don't want to deal with the reality. We'll take the fantasy and the gift of gab rather than deal with the reality. A lot of us are on our own when it comes to a vetting process. No one gets a pass when it comes to women and children. No one gets a pass, but the awareness is everything. We get so caught up in the drama. No one even thinks that Bigo, if people were to take a look and see that who Bigo is owned by, I mean, not knocking Bigo, we have to use technology, but we're allowing ourselves as a collective, our collective pain and trauma to constantly be exploited on new platforms that's owned by a Singaporean and Chinese company. So today I was like, it looks so toxic on B. It looks so toxic over there. But then again, to get the word out, it's awareness, because these folks constantly go to new platforms where they know you're green and they know you're going to defend them. They know you're not going to ask any questions. Everything that young lady is saying right now, even if people could say, it's going to take a while for her to see her own accountability, which she's starting to see. It's a process. It's a process. It's uncomfortable. It's ugly. But now she has the opportunity to bring a lot of awareness, and shout outs to her father for not giving up on her. I can relate to that man 1000%. And no family is perfect, because I would not leave. I wasn't going anywhere. But we're gullible as a people. I've seen intelligent women with double degrees, go through life crises that have all been exploited by cults. These patterns are distinct and they've been going on for a long time. But we refuse to educate ourselves. We'd rather be
Absolutely.
entertained. And this is
Yeah.
not a joke. People don't really have an idea of the magnitude of what's happening here. And it's also for me to put myself in harm's way with putting videos out. Nobody's coming to check and see if my family are okay. I'm out in another country, overseas. This is not a joke. This is not the United States, as I've said before. This is not the police system. There's a lot that we're taking for granted. So folks could perhaps maybe see, if you put yourself in that position, people, if I would have did this, you don't know what the hell you're doing at 20 and 21. That's when you make some of the worst mistakes of your lives. And a lot of people are growing up without their parents, if we're just real. A lot of those crack children are now grown adults.
Right.
Are grown adults. So are we going to take accountability, or just keep, each one of us plays a role in shifting the climate of accountability? All of us, like somebody, like the government, take care of us. Each one of us as grown women and grown men, each one of us play a role in setting a climate where there is some kind of accountability.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I completely agree with you there. And I'm so glad that you're doing what you're doing and spreading awareness in your own way. I became familiar with your cult, the cult that you, I think, were a part of at one time. I think they actually, Carbonation
They
tried
changed the name.
to
Well, they changed the
reach
name,
out to them, right?
They change. Well, yes. There's so much I can't even keep up. Again, this young lady, you can tell that most of the audience does not have a frame of reference, which is why people are arguing back and forth. So you can tell that they don't have a frame of reference. Because when I tell you, almost everything that's coming out of that young woman's mouth as the realizations hit her is spot on, 1000%.
Mm-hmm.
And even the things that we saw with her that look like, why don't she do this? And why? Because you cannot see all the different angles and the perspectives of what's happening there. And it's being orchestrated. I watched it. I experienced firsthand an adult male, an older male who's actually quite brilliant, who's educated. And the rest of the women are very educated. The children and young people growing up in cults, that's all that they know. So these folks were trying to get into that other thing. So there's so many similarities and parallels. It's unbelievable. And then also they will always go after women, because once you have children there, women are naturally going to have an allegiance to protecting their children. Again, we've seen this, right? Because you don't want another child, the whole thing, a child without a father. So these folks are extremely calculated. And again, you don't have a way to cross-reference them, because I researched and visited before I went somewhere, and I'm a mature adult, and I had family members in there. So if you can imagine Mr. Marquez being in there with his daughter, that was my experience with another family member. I don't consider myself stupid at all, but you just don't have a frame of reference. And so they seek quite often people that have good intentions, because you're the perfect person that's going to defend them. You're defending a principle when you don't really know the person.
Exactly.
So just the
Yep.
awareness is so important. And I just invite people to consider, everyone, in your quiet moments, and rather than just looking at the screen, if you use your imagination, we say we're brilliant people, what can we do? And it's not always just money, but what can we do rather than just yell at the screen? What can we do to create a climate of safety and accountability? So
Well, the first thing we can do is we can talk about it. We can have the discussion and we can foster and plant the seed in people's minds
correct.
and allow it to grow and for them to share their just for it to blossom and for them to be able to spread that amongst their circle and their
Mm-hmm.
family. And I think that's the best thing that you can do. I think from documenting this cult, one of the best things that I've been able to do is just spreading awareness in my real life of cults, because not a lot of people are aware of really how they function, the fact that they exist in such massive numbers. I mean, this cult is one of many. They just happen to live their life out loud online and publicly, and that is the only reason that they are getting the amount of attention that they get. And
Mm-hmm.
that is the truth of the matter.
Mm-hmm.
Most
It's a
cults are
very
able
important
to
conversation.
kind of thrive
Yep.
undercover.
You're right. You said something very important. I hear many people, you said something at the beginning about the energy shifting. And I just noticed recently, because I just stay laid back in the cut and just observe. And then I got to go on and move about my garden and live my life. But I noticed when you said the energy shift, I just noticed that people are saying, the T won't allow us to say this and she won't allow us to say that. And I was like, wow. After this person has been consistently posting up pretty much the most objective channel on coverage of this cult, right? Now I was like, look how quickly people just shift and start attacking you when you've been the main source of objective information consistently. So, a lot of us, we move in a sheep-like mentality. It is what it is. So that's the nature of that's just how folks on the planet are moving today. It's dangerous.
Absolutely.
It's a cult-like
And they,
mentality.
yeah, and it's okay. That's why I'm having this live tonight. And I was built for this. So it doesn't bother me. That's why I'm addressing those particular individuals. And in the process, we're able to commune and to discuss this and to express ourselves and to continue spreading awareness, because even this is spreading awareness. Um,
Mhm.
and I really appreciate you coming on my panel tonight. There are 7 more people in queue that want to say something, and I want
Well,
to
thank
try to give
you so much.
everyone
I
an
really
opportunity. No, absolutely. Thank you for, hopefully we can do this again. And I know you came on to one of my panels at one time before, and you
appreciate.
really you helped to provide a ton of knowledge and information and resources about cults based on your experience. So hopefully we can do that again soon. But thank you
Well,
so much.
I'll reach out to you and maybe send you some information, because I was thinking every time I think of something, I write it down somewhere, because it's so much, again, as the young lady said, that you can't even remember everything. And even as I remember, I was like, oh my gosh, did that really happen, from firsthand experience? So and maybe there can be perhaps a panel for adults or for parents, to spread awareness amongst parents and even young people as to the patterns of cults, because the shortcut is understanding and seeing the patterns, especially when you don't have a frame of reference. But I'll make it
Absolutely.
stay connected. All right. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hmm.
No, that was her mic. Is it good now, guys? Am I crackling? Am I coming through clear? All set. Oh, I'm not clear yet, guys. Okay, let me some people say I'm good. Some people say I'm not. I don't know. Is that better? Okay. Thank you, Melanated. I'm gonna add Offset to the live, and again, there's a ton of people in the queue, so we're gonna try to keep it cute and short. But here goes.
Hi.
Hi, Offset.
Hi, thank you for adding.
Hi.
Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Okay, I hope I'm not breaking up. But yeah, I quickly just wanted to talk about 3 main things. And my first point I just wanted to talk about today was, I guess, the danger of, I guess, not exactly the divine masculine, but just men that position themselves in the quote unquote hotep community or in the spiritual community. Like for those of us who are really into this lifestyle, and into, like, I guess, stepping away from white supremacy, and really just tuning back into nature and the way our ancestors live. I feel like a lot of us still have internalized patriarchy. We still turning to these men as the leaders when in reality it's the women. The women are the ones that have to take back the power and lead us. And I feel like Nature Boy, he and so many other men that position themselves in the spiritual community, they just take advantage of women. And this is like the tune we see time and time again. And I don't know, I think the divine feminine, we need to, like, really just put our foot down and watch out, because, like, how many times or how many generations are we gonna keep on letting these quote unquote men do the same thing the white supremacists are doing to us? And how do Black people globally think that we're gonna suddenly progress when our own men are treating us like slaves? um so yeah, that's just my first point. I just want to warn the divine feminine to watch out, like, as more people get quote unquote woke, as more people tune into their feminine energy, and the men are actually the ones coming around right now. They're the ones learning these knowledge that we always knew as kids, because we have wombs and our wombs give us all this knowledge that we know. So the men are coming around, and then now that they know this knowledge, they're saying, oh, since I'm a man, I'm going to be in power. I'm going to be the person that you're going to listen to. And of course, as women, we're thinking, oh, like, the men lead, so we're going to listen to them. But time and time again, they abuse their power, and this is what they do. So yeah, I think this is just a learning lesson for all of us, just seeing what's happening with Nature Boy and what's probably going to happen for, like, maybe hopefully just one more generation, just men putting themselves in positions of power, saying that they're going to lead the revolution, but in reality they're just, I guess, like, they're just here to suck up our energy and just continue the unfortunate cycle. And then on to my next point. I think we have to be very careful about watching this situation happening. I know all of us could agree, after a while of just, like, listening to the stories and just keeping up and keeping tabs, like, we feel drained, and there's a reason why we feel drained. All of this is just, it gives energy to Nature Boy and all of the sinister, and I think the situation is deeper than the surface level. I think it's deeper than what we see on the screen and, like, what we think is happening. I think all of this is orchestrated. It has, like, governmental ties. I don't know i don't know how far it goes, but this is very deep. And this is very intentional to destroy the melanated community worldwide. So we just have to be careful, because we don't know which forces are behind this action. From the child sacrificing to, like, just turning these women to zombies. All of us know about these conspiracies. I'll let you guys put two and two together, but I mean, I'm not gonna say it, but you guys know what I'm hinting at. So we just have to be very careful about giving our energy to this story. And I guess my advice to the audience is just take it day by day, and don't let this I guess, like, get into your head, because there's sinister forces going on behind this. And I guess, to my last point, to wrap it up, um they keep hopping to country. And I guess my theory, like, I don't want to start, like, controversies or anything, but I think, to what I was saying before, this is all intentional by the government. Because, like, come on, like, let's be realistic. If the FBI or if any government association in any country wanted to find a group that's using social media, like, honestly, if I was tech savvy, I think I could find where Nature Boy location is by looking up his IP address if I wanted to. But I'm not educated. But anyways, if the government organizations and people in power who are able to stop this wanted to stop it, they would have long time ago, but they didn't, and they did it for a reason. They allow him and they allow other cults that are draining, I guess, like the Black community of their energy, stay in place because they just want to destroy us, and continue to further divide us. And I just want to warn you guys that it's really a spiritual warfare out here. And we just have to take the time to truly not let these people with black skin, but we don't know what they are in the insides, say that they're here to save us from ourselves or to teach us some occult knowledge that we don't intuitively know. So yeah, that's just my point overall. I just want to warn like the community and the audience listening right now to just really take time to step away from all of this, and to really get in tune with yourself, because there's everything is deeper than the surface level, and we don't know what we're dealing with most of the time. Maybe a few years from now we might know what's actually going on, but at the end of the day we're behind the screens and we just don't know. And even the girls who broke free, they don't even know what's going on. So yeah, I just want everybody to like just be at peace and not to follow the story too crazy, because it's just there's just some sinister energy going on behind it that's sucking the energy from the audience. And we're the leader tomorrow. So yeah, I think we should just take our day, send our love, and to be very cautious. And that's all. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you. Can you guys hear me okay? I tried to fix my mic situation. Am I good or no? Melanated, let me know. Y'all probably can't even hear me. Oh, okay. Yay. Awesome. I'm using this crazy looking mic, y'all. But I do want to speak on one thing that Offset said, in that the fact that I do not believe that Eligio Bishop is a government agent in any way, shape, or form. Period. The reason that I say this is because many cults have been allowed to exist, and there are many cults that are operating in the United States alone and all over the world. And they are not being targeted by the FBI or any government organization, because something Fluid said the other day, and that was the fact that although he has people watching him, he has a pretty big following watching his actions online, he doesn't have a lot of people there. And that's the truth of the matter. There is no government conspiracy. Okay. And you can look at the Nuwapians as proof of that. Now, the leader of the Nuwapians was actually a convicted sex offender before he was even able to form his cult with the backing and support of the Black community in the state that in the city that he formed his cult. He was able to operate for how many years? I think it was upwards of 20 years. He was able to purchase, 400 acres of land in some small town in Georgia. A compound was built. They built pyramids on this compound. They had a massive following. And the only reason that they were ever even targeted was because doctors at a hospital, or not, I don't know, even know if it was doctors, it might have been nurses, but hospital officials are the ones that brought it to the authorities' attention, because there were so many young girls having babies there with no fathers listed on the birth certificate. So yes, Dr. York, and I don't even know if he's a real. You know what? I'm not even going to call him Dr. York. I'm sorry, Malachi York, because he's a sex offender. So yeah, and this man was able to operate and build and amass a large cult following all over the United States. And they're still going, not as strong today, but they're still going today. So I don't see him as being a government agent. I don't see him as being a plant. I just see him as being someone who is taking advantage of the fact that he has cult members that leave that just kind of want to get on with their lives, and they kind of just want to not be in the limelight like they're forced to be in the limelight when they're there anymore. And they don't go to the authorities for whatever reason. Maybe they're not ready, they're not mentally there yet. It takes a while to deprogram from cult programming. It's psychological abuse that they're going through on a level that we can't fathom. And so the manipulation is strong. The abuse is just incessant. It's a daily thing. There's nothing good about being a part of a cult, and especially as it relates to carbonation. And things that were going on in the Nuwapians cult was just horrific. I mean, just as far as the sexual abuse of women, children, male and female. So yeah, melanated, you're right. Psychological abuse is the most traumatic, and then the sexual abuse that the ex-carbonation female members are speaking out about is a real testament to, when you're marrying the two together, it's it's a lot to overcome. Like, you're not getting out of a cult like that thinking, oh, let me skip, hop, and jump to the FBI and start talking. You're just like trying to, heal your body and your mind and your soul. That's like the first thing that you're probably wanting to do. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna let the next person up on the panel, Miss Grinch. Hi, Miss
Hello.
Grinch.
Hey T, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Little low for me, but that could just be me though.
Oh, okay, sorry. Well, I just wanted to say thank you for everything you do with broadcasting Eligio and carbonation, and you're one of my favorite YouTubers. So I didn't really want to say much. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I always see you in the chat supporting. And just to kind of backpack on what the last caller said as well, I completely agree with taking a step back. It's probably one of my main reasons for not, like I said before, not reposting those lives, a lot of his lives in full anymore, the live
Hmm.
streams. Um, I feel that at this point, there's enough information out on this channel to really show people who this monster is. He can rah rah about the Willie Lynch letter and how the black man is God all day and all night. It's not detracting from the fact that he's a whole demon walking the earth plane. And so, thank you so much for tuning in and for hearing me out and for participating and for being here. And I appreciate you. Thank
Now,
you.
I had one more. Do we know, like, for sure if, like, Ryan D is working behind the scenes with, the FBI and or in trying to take him down?
What I do know is that he did say that that's what he was going to do, but there's been like some drama connected to him in the background. And
Hmm.
I think he kind of got caught up in, just a lot of mess, maybe unintentionally. And
Yeah.
the last that I heard from him was that he's done. As some of you might know, he was falsely accused of being someone who he is not. And it was a pretty bad accusation, I will have to admit. But I think after that happened, Ryan was kind of like, you know what, drops Mike. So I'm not
Yeah.
really sure. I hope that he doesn't completely give up because, he did make a vow to do something, and hopefully he follows through on that, or else you just pretty much like you're letting people down. So,
Yeah. Because I really thought, okay, this is going to be the time when, Eligio and Carbonation was going to be taken down. And I mean, just to mention, because in one of your videos I was watching, I've been trying to catch up for a few days now because it's just been crazy. But I mean, even other people are starting to notice Efru just looks so bad, and she's never looked like this before. She was always the one that looked healthy, had a glow, and now he's putting her in timeout, and she's just not looking well. She looks really skinny, and
yeah, it's sad because I think what's happening there is that
I mean, this is just my humble opinion, is that they all have something. They all have, I mean, there's no way Tanisha Malia could leave and be the only one. You know, all these other members have left and spoke about the, you know, the illnesses that they have had to
Yeah.
heal from while they were there. And now Malia, Tanisha, same thing, even on a, you know, the worst level that we've seen
Yeah.
since Mama Dia. And there not be anything wrong with any of the other women that are remaining. And so they eat this diet there that, you know, they claim is so healthy. They went from the be sick diet to the eat clean cuisine diet. And it's like, maybe they're trying to counteract what they know is the inevitable. I think for Eligio, definitely that's probably the case, where it's a daily battle for him. Like, but
Yeah.
it's time is running out though. You know, you can't be fighting all manner of STDs in your body every day just off of
Yeah.
eating well and getting sun and you know drinking spring water from
Well, it's
the
clearly not working
spring that
because
you
I mean, a lot of them are just looking sick,
exactly.
and I don't know for sure if, Malia has HIV, but I mean, when they put that one medicine out there that she's on, and I personally contacted two doctors I know that said that medication is only for HIV.
Yeah, so you just they all, like I said, they all definitely have something going on. And you know what's interesting about the men is that, like, even with Pisces, I know that like even Fifi spoke about his nose. And I
His
used to
nose has been looking broken
I
like
know
for
I
the
used to
longest.
always say that though. I like even a year. I know that for the past year and a half, I've been like, damn, like is his nose broken? It looks worse. It's gotten worse, and it could be, like Fifi said, it was inflammation, swelling, whatever it is, swelling, inflammation, broke, what have you. The being between the tropic, being in the
Yeah,
tropics is not healing it, whatever it
yeah.
is. So there's definitely something going on there.
It
Um,
looked like somebody else's nose was starting to look like that too. I don't know if he's busting them in the nose or
well, they fight. He
yeah.
fights the men. The men fight each other over there. They do like gladiator fights, and it they beat each other up, just like they do with the women. It's not just the women; it's the men too. The only one not really fighting is Eligio, because I honestly don't. I don't think he's a fighter, to be honest with you. I think he's a runner.
When they said he ran and hid in the bushes and was sucking his thumb, that didn't sound like a fighter to me.
Absolutely, he's not. So he's not busting nothing but a grape. I don't know. So yeah, thank you so much. And I know you just had a birthday pass
Oh, yeah,
recently.
yeah.
Shout out, happy belated.
Thank you.
I did
But I
shout
don't.
you out in that video, but I don't think you were in there. That you were probably out partying and having fun.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I missed it. But thank you anyways.
No, you're
But I don't
welcome.
want to take up anybody's time and let other people come up. I just wanted to show you some love, show you I'm probably one of your biggest fans and always watching your videos. So,
You are so welcome. Thank you so much for coming up and sharing your thoughts. I appreciate you. I'm going to drop you down and I'm going to let the next person up. I'm going to
okay.
check on the status of this next video too. So peace to you, Miss Grinch.
Peace to you.
Y'all, I'm actually kind of let me see. Let me see if this video is done, because it's going to be funny. Y'all going to love it. And I prefer to do these type of videos. So if anybody in the comments, if y'all speak out against carbonation, I would rather post people speaking out against carbonation and what's going on there, you know, different perspectives, especially the men too. The men in the comments, I see you guys, and I know that all of you are nothing like Eligio and the men that are over there. So if any men really want to speak out and express their thoughts on this, it's not a lot of men that do, and some of the men that do speak out about this are really toxic themselves. So we really would I personally would appreciate if you all do have something to say. I will share your viewpoints on my platform if you so allow. So please know that, you know, we are behind you. If that's what you want to do it. Okay, Sun Goddess, I'm gonna let you up on the panel. You're next in line. Hi, Sun Goddess. Are you there? She might have fell asleep. Team Pisces. Hi, melanated. All right, Sun Goddess, I don't hear you. I don't know if you're muted or you just not there, but I'm gonna drop you down now and I'm gonna let somebody else up. Chaotic transparencies. Hi, chaotic. Yeah, they're not agents. Like people love to throw that word agent around and I'm just not feeling it. Like I'm sorry. I mean, what would the government like what agents of what? Agents of chaos. That's about it. These people are healing and in need of intense healing and I think that they deserve to have that. They deserve to be healed and they deserve to just not be attacked for trying to do that in the only way that maybe they feel that they can, you know. You never know. Joe B, I'm gonna take a chance on you.
Hey,
Joe
what's
B,
up? Can you hear me?
hi. How are you?
I'm fine. First of all, thank you for letting me on your panel. And I just want to say, I'm proud of your work. I'm proud of every woman that's connected with making that dude fall. You know what I'm saying? It goes beyond black. You just doing injustices to women. You know what I'm saying? And to those men over there too. But I just want to just applaud you for your work, and you're doing well. And black men are backing you. You know what I'm saying? I back your channel and I back your work, what you're doing. We may not all have the same, belief system, but I believe in justice and I want justice to come to those who need it over there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to take up your time, but like I said, black men are backing you, and we love the work you're doing to save our sisters and just everybody over there that's been used and abused. And I just want to say this: I understand people don't really love counseling, but I just want, they just need to connect with someone who's professionally understands the mind and that can take them through the trauma that they've been through over there. You know what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
I just want them to get help and like all that, but I just want to just give you your flowers now. You're doing a great job. Don't stop. Forget if people don't like your message. Just do your job, T. Do your job, and this is it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe. I appreciate that. And it's so refreshing when we have especially our melanated brothers that do support what we're doing because I have to be honest with you guys. There are so like sometimes I look at some of the past videos that I posted when they were on Instagram and the lives were like just really sometimes unbearable because he was just advocating openly. Like I'm compiling a video right now just to kind of give people a better understanding of Velvet's journey right after she had the baby because I think things really went downhill for her in a major way after baby Eliana was born. And just some of the psychological and physical abuse that occurred to her and why she's kind of gone through the things that she's gone through. I can understand people being in their feelings about her leaving and then going back and then leaving and going back, but it's like you have watched her particular journey from the start. I think you might have a better idea of why that was happening. This is a 19, 20, 21-year-old young woman who is literally kind of being preyed upon and groomed by a much older man and taken through kind of so many different levels of psychological abuse. And, can you imagine? And I know a lot of women can imagine being in love with an abusive man and a man who openly promotes abusing women. Sometimes you got to slap her up, you know. I was listening to her speaking to Sunny. Oh my God, I don't want to butcher her name. It's Cachet. And she was referring to an incident where one day she was babysitting baby Eliana and she was crying and she called on the mic to ask Velvet if she should bring the baby to her. And she was like, yeah, bring her up. And I guess her and Eligio had been fighting previously. And she comes up, brings her the baby, and Eligio just hits her across the face. And that's what she witnessed. And she said it was Cachet. Thank you. Impeccable. Hits her across the face. And she said it was like, and I'm sure it was traumatizing for her. She's extremely young as well. Just imagine how often that went on where they didn't see it happening. It was a lot of abuse going on behind the scenes. And it takes, I can't imagine going through that. I've never been abused in that way by a man. And so I cannot sit with a clear conscience and allow people to continue saying she's not a victim. I think that that is sick to even think that. Yes, they victimized each other. And it was literally kind of just like the Nexium cult. Keith, whatever his name is, Keith R., he had the women abusing each other as well. And, you know, branding each other, bribing each other, extorting each other. They purposely would do, you know, things to, you know, give him something to extort them with. That was one of the requirements. They had slave master relationships. They had real branding. And I'm not talking just tattoos. I'm talking like, I'm sure painful. This looked painful near their private areas. His initials. I mean, how sick is that? So this man, it took him 20 years to go down. And one of the women that was one of the ringleaders in that cult went down with him. And she was a famous, she was an actress. I think she was on one of the, she was on one of those shows from back in the day. I forget which one, but total sociopath and just mind numbing. What sometimes the human being is capable of putting themselves through or allowing themselves to be put through. So just imagine, you know, going through that type of abuse as well. And these are mostly Caucasian women. So it's not just, you know, it's not just the melanated woman. And then I was doing some research as well about the wives of cult leaders and what typically happens with them. Oh, Smallville, that's right. Two went down. Loco, correct. Loco, by the way, Loco Loco also documents a cult, and I know that you're not trying to be funny, but the way that you document this cult is I cannot help but laugh. It's hilarious. And I know that they are just as dangerous. They have a huge following, and they also get people from I think all over the world. And Loco, I wish you would maybe we can sit one day and compare cults, but your code is just as it's just as toxic and destructive. But it's hilarious. the way that you the way that you call them out is hilarious to me. And so sometimes you need that because like this energy is so dark with carbonation. It's like, oh, and that's why you're not gonna, like I said, there are a lot of other channels that are still posting his full lives, but you know, I've come to a place where, you know, I'm just going to be kind of changing up the way that I repost some of those lives, and it's just going to come with all receipts and a lot of memory lanes and a lot of background information, so people can really truly understand what these people have gone through, all of them. So because it's been a lot, and you know, they are all victims at the end of the day. Even unfortunately Courtney, who, you know, had been accused of hitting Zoka, Jayon. I'm definitely really sad and disappointed to hear that, but I know that Eligio has always been a proponent of abusing women, and I have, and many others have, the proof of him stating that yes, your woman needs to be roughed up. Yes, your woman needs to be abused to know that you love her, and she wants you to abuse her. Like, just the most toxic, sick, despicable things that you could ever think of. And then justifies it by saying the black man is God and woe is me, white supremacy. Like, no, the white man didn't make you do that. You chose to do that. So, there's a guy, Richard, in the queue, and then I think we're gonna end the queue after this. Hi, Richard, are you there?
Yes, how you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Well, um, I don't know where to start. I'm glad that I'm talking to you. I didn't know this was a real page.
Yeah, it's real.
I just didn't know who was running the page or the channel. Um, but wow, I'm glad what you guys are doing. And actually, I'm gonna talk about a few things. And actually have ask you a few questions. If that's okay with you.
Sure.
Um, yeah. So I started watching Nature Boy back in 2016. I honestly truly believe that the way he started, I don't think he intentionally to make it. He didn't. I don't know. I don't know if you feel the same way, but how it is now, he didn't start off as before. Um, as people followed him, as his holistic center or retreat, more people got involved. Long story short, anyway, I don't think that he wanted it to be what it came to be. Yeah, you guys could call him a cult and all of that, but there are things that I do agree on some of the things he teaches. No, I'm not picking sides. Um, but again, there are things that I don't agree with. Um, yeah, so
So,
one of
Richard,
my
let me ask you one thing before you
yeah,
continue.
yep,
Were you aware of Eligio's life prior to starting his spiritual awakening? Are you aware of the type of life that he lived prior to that?
yeah, I'm aware.
So you're aware that he beat his son's mother almost to a pulp to the point that he was facing 20 years in prison?
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Okay. Okay. I
Okay,
was just checking if you kind of knew some of his background history. He's always
but
been
but
abusive.
why bring that up?
Because the abuse never stopped. It doesn't matter if you are spiritually awakened or not. If you're an abusive individual, spiritually awakened or not, you're still going to be an abusive individual. If you are spiritually awakened and you stop the abuse, then you are learning and you're progressing in life. How can you turn a blind eye to the abuse? At that point, I don't care about what you're teaching. I care about the fact that you're abusing women and men to a point where Malia is now having to deal with having her organs shifted and leaving with STDs. And so you have kind of detracted from your purpose in a major way. And at the end of the day, you're still an abusive, spiritually awakened individual who is toxic and who's dangerous to his own community. So it matters to me. And if it doesn't matter to you, I
No, no,
that
I hear what you're saying. No, I
ask
hear what
me.
you're saying. No, 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 I hear what you're saying, and you're right. But again, I'm gonna ask you this: do you believe that he had the Mama Dia situation? Do you believe that he has something to do with that? Because people were accusing him, but I don't believe he had nothing to do with that.
Who
To be honest.
knows? Who knows? I believe that the truth will come out eventually. That's what I do know. I believe that when you go to carbonation, your bags are checked. I do know that when he was in Mexico, he made it crystal clear that you were not to take medicine, and multiple members have confirmed that you could not take medicine. You couldn't even. And there was a guy that went there, and he had an infection, and the infection got worse and worse, and he was told to go to down to the river and wash it off, and nature would heal it, and that's not what happened. And
Right.
so I'm not saying that he killed her. I know a lot of people say that, but I'm not one to just make blatant claims like
Yeah.
that. I
Right.
do believe that he died in her camp, and I think that definitely brought a lot of heat down on him. And I think that if you're running a cult, you're responsible for what happens in your cult. And at the end of the day, there's a family that's grieving that lost a mother, an aunt, a sister, and
Mm-hmm.
who
Yep.
knows what. But I'm not going to say that he specifically killed her because I don't have that proof or evidence yet.
Absolutely.
All we know is that she did die while she was in carbonation, and she was no
Yeah.
longer taking her medicine. So that was very irresponsible on his part. If I have a woman in her 50s who has a heart condition, I'm going to make sure that she's taking her medicine. I'm going to make sure that she has everything that she needs to thrive and to live a happy life while she's with me and my tribe. So that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But at that time, they were coming out with the B6 diet, and they don't believe in medications, and neither do I. I don't believe in that crap neither. But
Well,
she
then
was at that, getting up in that age where But let me. I want to say this. I wanted to go there at one point in time. I really did.
I can tell.
Um, well, yeah, but
Yeah, I'm reading your energy. I
yeah.
can
So
see that. You want to
yeah. I
defend him. I get it.
say again.
I said I can tell because you want to defend the knowledge, and I don't even talk
No,
about.
no, no. But because at the time, I would say this. At the time, I looked at it as like a holistic, pure, getting back to your roots, the tropics. You know what I mean? Natural food. I'm into that type of stuff, and I honestly do believe as melanated folks, we should be where it's hot. But hey, that's another story. But I actually did want to go, but once I saw people, leaving their original members like Yaya, Sister Neo, Phoenix Rising, and a bunch of other people were leaving. Serenity. That's why I was like, no, I can't go. That showed me that was red flags. I was like, I cannot do that. Like, I can't go. But that was one of the things that I wanted to do is to join at the time. But once I started seeing people leaving and saying stuff, and he was hitting people, and he was leaving from different countries, they were kicking him out. And I'm like, yo, what's going on? And he was fighting with Ashe Divine. It was a whole drama came. And I didn't, and that's when I kind of changed my mind and say, I could do this without being in a tribe, do my own thing. Um,
Absolutely, because me personally, I could never follow someone.
no, no,
Um,
It's not following somebody. It was just that
do you have
back in
any?
2016. So I was,
You can do all this yourself, though. You can have your own little tribe. You can. A lot of the men that have left there, they have formed they have wives now, and they have children, and they are doing their own thing, and so I get it. I understand. He makes it look good. Like Velvet says, it's a nice backdrop, but I'm the type of person that it's not just about what you're putting out, it's about who's putting it out. And so the person's moral character, their character, their integrity, their moral compass, all of that needs to be weighed before you decide to, you know, put your pick up your ankh and go join them. And I think
I know now. You start seeing the results, and your true colors. Start to So, and I realized, that lifestyle, I couldn't be in that environment where negativity was, people wasn't allowed to speak. You had to listen to them. Now I can't do that. But I do like the idea of being in nature. I'm gonna always stand by that. Because that's I really,
Absolutely. He's not the first person that, that it's interesting to me because so many people tout that whole nature thing like, "Oh, it's, so cool. You're living in nature." And it's like I think that's just a lifestyle thing because I've always been in nature. I spent all my summers in nature. I always. So it's that was never the big
yeah,
appeal for me. It was always like, okay, why is that such a big deal? But then when you see his history and the fact that, even he comes from the suburbs, but he spent a lot of his youth incarcerated and youth institutions and then mental institution and then jumping into the army and then so he didn't care about that and he wasn't focused on that. And then when you hear him talking to ex-girlfriends from the live streams that he used to do on Instagram, and
yeah,
one girl in particular was trying to introduce him to a more natural lifestyle, living in nature, appreciating nature. He wasn't interested. And so it's maybe he came to some realizations, and I think him facing 20 years in prison was the catalyst. It's not, see, the thing is, it's kind of like cheating. How you get them is how you lose them most of the times. And
yeah,
so for him, how he started his spiritual journey is kind of unfortunately going to be how he ends his spiritual journey. And so I think if this is someone that you admire in any little way, I think that you can find a lot of other men who are not abusive and who do not have sordid histories to kind of just taking from different sources, which is exactly what he's done. None of this, he can lie as much as he wants to, but anybody who's been following him for a long time knows that he's taken a lot of his knowledge from a lot of different sources, and a lot of it's come from non-melanated men. He used to always talk about Santo, I forget his name, the astrology guy. So when he
nah,
was big into doing astrology, it was Santo something B something. It was this guy
okay,
on YouTube,
okay,
and then it was Bruce Lipton, and then when he does a lot of his presentations, it's always educated. He's
let
probably
me let me
taking presentations from college professors, and it's like, but you're taking presentations from these individuals that you are speaking against. You're speaking against the white man. You're speaking against white supremacy, but then again, you're using their knowledge. That is hypocritical.
no, but the thing is, knowledge doesn't belong to anybody.
Exactly. But so then why is he claiming that it's his? See, there's always something. Why are you claiming it's yours just so that you can say you're the messiah of the black community?
Yeah, that I
You
mean
can
that's
be
where
whatever
you
you
lose
want,
me.
but you can't say that knowledge doesn't belong to anybody, but he literally says that it belongs to him.
I
He
mean, it's passed on. People. If you seek, if you want, if you, I mean, if you're seeking, knowledge, you can find it from all different sources. You know what I mean?
absolutely. So
And what made you um report start reporting on nature board? How did you know this was all a fraud? I'm just curious. Did you ever,
um
eventually realized, or you were just reporting not?
no,
Okay,
I
go ahead.
didn't find him through him. I wasn't looking for any type of I've already been gone through my spiritual awakening before I even discovered Eligio. I found him through Young Pharaoh, and I used to just watch Young Pharaoh's debates because I used to love to debate. That's what I used to do online. I would debate in forums about various topics and subjects, and mostly politics at one point before I became awakened to the fact that, and I hope I don't piss anybody off in the chat, but
Don't
politics is
worry about it. No,
BS.
do you? No, you speak your mind.
No, they're all on the same team, you guys. They be going out and eating lunch and brunch together and taking photos with each other after they, you know, come on. Obama and Bush cousin. No. So yeah. So no, I used to really love debates, and so I would watch Pharaoh because I used to debate online all the time, especially with guys, with men.
About what?
And I would just
What
be that
topic? What?
one.
Okay.
No, I would be that one woman that would like they would hate me because I'm like I'm a smart cookie. Like you can't handle me. And so I found him through him.
Okay.
And when I
Okay.
discovered him, I'm like, this guy, I just like listened and I kind of stepped away from the drama and I started looking at, his other videos and I'm like, wow, this guy is just basically is he's manipulating these people. So it was right away for me. I could see right away that he was a manipulator, and then finding out about the abuse and the all the other stuff that came with it. And so I wanted to document it because I knew that it would become, I know a lot of people don't like this, but what he's doing is something to be studied. It is, I say he's not an agent at all, but he's definitely a case study. At the end of the day, he's a case study and a psychologist's wet dream. So my interest is more academic, I think, and also as an advocate for my sister's keeper. A lot
You-
of Black women aren't protected in America, and I despise abuse. I despise abuse. And so
Yeah,
that's
I'm
really
with you on
drives
that.
me. Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you, what if he comes out and comes clean and apologizes to every member, everybody?
Yeah. He's
Will
already
that
done
be
that.
enough?
He's done
Uh-huh.
that a million times, and there's no apology in the world that you could give for destroying the minds of your people, the minds and the bodies, and telling people that you own their souls and you're going to hell, and when you wake up from the sleep of death, that you're going to bow at
Yeah.
my feet. Um, who would want an apology? It's like Hitler apologizing for exterminating millions of people. Your apology is useless at this point. You can only and the only person he has an answer to and is the Most High. And so, at the end of the day, I know y'all hate that, but it is what it is. There's not enough apologies in the world for the damage that he's doing to the melanated community. He's also manipulating white people that
Wow.
follow him as well.
Okay. But
Yeah.
yeah, and hey, yeah,
I mean, I understand where you're coming from, and that's why I'm giving you a chance. But
yeah, thank you very
there's
much.
nothing that he can do or say to me personally that would make me think that he's remorseful for anything that he's done, because it goes a lot deeper than what we see on the surface and what a lot of people understand it to be. And so that's why my only goal is to really to just spread awareness. Look, this is what carbonation is. This is what you're in for. This is how you might come out looking like, feeling like, and sounding like when you are able to break free. It's complete mental warfare, spiritual warfare, and manipulation, and it's happening to the men as well as the women. So it's not just the women; it's the men too. And you can see it. It's written all over their bodies. Do you want to? Could you imagine weighing, your arm being the size of a the girth of a woman's wrist as a man, your thighs being the size of a woman's arm? Like
Yeah,
that's not normal. It's just it's not okay. And so
yeah. He's definitely broken a lot of bridges from people. One of them was Omac. He was a good brother, still is. But you could tell he lost there's a loss of respect from the two. From maybe other members as well, and like yeah, he lost a lot of broken friendships
yeah,
from
because he
from
doesn't he doesn't like his he doesn't know how to maintain any a sense of normalcy. So even if you do talk to him, you'll often see a lot of people that they might feel that they have a special relationship with him, and then you find out that you really don't.
Yeah,
There's
I tried talking to him. He blocked me.
e- Just
Yeah, it
exactly.
was on WhatsApp. I tried to, reach out to him.
Exactly. Because
He,
you're
he,
if you're not
yeah,
useful to him. If you are not, if he can't use you, and he'll tell you. He'll tell you straight out. If I
I
can't
know, but
use
hey,
you,
hey, that's how he is.
I don't like. What do you, as kiss? He just basically would love for you to kiss his ass and leave it at that. If he
Yeah, I
can't
know.
use you for something, then you are of no use to him.
He had a good amount of people that were following him, which I was one of them. Um, that was really about what his movement, his, you know what I mean. But now he fell off. I mean, if he could do a 360 and turn everything around, that would be the day.
Yeah, but he
Um,
can't maintain that because it's not really in him. He didn't
yeah, but
realize that so many people are looking for a savior. That's the only reason he calls himself the Messiah, is because he realized that so many people are looking for a savior. And that's just the truth
me
of the
and the black
matter.
community, we're looking for a leader, but you lead yourself. That's what I just realized. You got to lead yourself. Stop
Exactly.
looking for people and try to lead you. I mean, unless if they really have you know that they care for you and all, but you got to in the meanwhile you got to lead yourself to the path that you want to
Absolutely.
be in.
Absolutely. Yeah, so thank you for
Yeah, thank
for
you.
joining
Yeah,
the panel tonight, and I hope that you can kind of look past the knowledge and look at the person. Sometimes it's like if the person is putting themselves out there as this supreme being, someone where
yeah,
you can't obtain this knowledge from any other source, you have to question that person and what their true intentions are. And it's really not to teach, it's to control. And they're toxic. They're he's just a especially for the black woman. I know it's different for the black man because he tries to what's the word I'm looking for? He tries to placate the black man. He tries to manipulate the black man by, you know, not holding himself accountable for the things that he has done in his life that have nothing to do with the white man. But for women, I personally feel that he has absolutely no respect for women. He is violently abusive to women, sexually violently abusive to women, psychologically abusive to women, and abusive in all ways to the black woman. And that it is what it is, and I can't overlook that. I'm not gonna like yell down on you or anything like that for your past and for wanting to follow him. I come from a place of understanding,
yeah,
and I hope that sets me apart because I do understand the mindset and I do understand the desire to be a part of a group where people think like you and people
yeah.
want the
That's
same
what I
things
thought.
you.
Yeah, hey, yeah, he disappointed me on that. A lot of people,
Yeah,
because we were, at one point, we were all rooting for him.
exactly.
Seeing, if this tribe, this movement will be this thing. Once I saw him, getting deported, getting kicked out, people were leaving, and and that showed me red flags right there. And I was like, yo,
Yep.
what's going on? Yeah, he knows how to speak. I give him that.
Yeah.
He can talk, but his actions didn't show. You
No.
know, but yeah, again, T, thank you for having me. Okay,
No, thank you, Richard. You have a good
all right
night.
now. You too now.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Okay, guys, I dropped the link. This is if anybody wants to come up, this is the last call. You can do that. There's somebody in here, but I'm gonna kick them because I think they went away. So y'all are going off in the chat. Thank you guys for sticking with us tonight. It's been an hour and 40 minutes. Let me see if yay! It's ready. So if y'all want to follow me to the next video, okay, if you want to come up now. Okay. And then we're gonna have a late night. It's only like 40 minutes, 45 minutes or so. I think it's worth to watch. I did add some background details to it. And it's just basically some more manipulation of his favorite target, young, impressionable women. So let's see. We got, okay, it's Tyler.
Yes.
Hey.
Hey, Nati. Oh my God. I'm just now popping in here. I actually don't really know exactly what the topic is, but I just wanted to tell you that I love your channel so much. I love the music. I love the way that you put the video. I love the way that you sit back and just let everything play out. You don't really have much commentary. I love the comments that you make back on, on the other people that comment. Like, I just love you down. I love you down. And I just came to tell you I'm a huge, huge fan. And
Oh,
that's it. I'm a huge fan.
thank you so much. That is so funny hearing that. Like, really? Don't tell me that.
I
No, I
swear
appreciate you.
I stand. Like, I watch you. My husband, babe, how much do I watch this channel? The lady that I watch about the cult shit.
Oh yeah, you probably love
Every day,
it.
every like I stand you. Like, I love you so much. You are
What?
you're everything. I love you.
Wow, thank you so much. That is so funny. Like, I'm super humble. You do not even realize, like, I'm such a background type of person. It takes a lot for me to do this. Like, I just had to. I'm like, damn, these people are. Thank you. Just thank you. I
We
appreciate.
are watching you, like, even aside from the seriousness of the situation, it's, the way that you put the music together. Like, I can just tell that you're a creative and you're talented and you're also an intellectual. It's so much I can tell about you from just the videos that you post, girl. I love you. I'm a huge fan. Keep doing what you're doing. We gonna get this dude locked up.
Yes. He
Number
doesn't
one.
even know what's coming. It's like, I'm waiting. It's coming, guys. We just have to be patient because it's 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 coming. It's not gonna last. Trust me,
Period.
it's not.
He's going to prison. Every time I sit and watch this mess, I'm trying not to curse on here, but he's going to jail. Jail. With his little
It's,
bitty hair have himself, that little
yeah.
bit of hair of him, and that little bit of hair at the top is going to jail.
And that's serious, and it's for real. And it's like you he is supposed to be there. So it's like he's been trying to outrun his karma for years now, and it's just it's constantly catching back up to him, and he's gonna get what he deserves. It's literally deserving. It's not like no one's trying to take down the black man, because I've never
Facts.
I don't know any black men currently operating on the level that he's operating in the public limelight, willingly abusing women. Like, most men, like, abuse behind the scenes, but how dare you put the abuse on Front Street and act like we're just supposed to co-sign? Like, so many people do co-sign it, and it's sick.
Yeah,
But they all eventually wake up, you
they
know.
will.
Yeah.
It's just they need a. I don't know. So it's a lot of people in this world they like to follow, and I
Hmm.
just wish that they would have a better person if they could pick someone.
I
And I
agree.
got two daughters, and watching this mess all the time, it makes me want to love my daughter even more. I already try to shower them with love, but just any little thing that I can tell them every now and then, like, I'll just be looking at them. You're so beautiful. You're
Aw.
so smart. You're so gorgeous. Just thinking about the way that these girls, like, man, I don't even want to get into it because I get emotional. I'm one of them
I
people that's
could
wrapped up
tell.
in this mess. Like,
Well, thank
I'm
you so
wrapped up.
much for loving on your babies the way you do. I hope everybody does, because it's like, you know, the you definitely don't want them to end up with, not even if it's not a cult leader. You just don't want them to end up with someone
Any type
like that in any way,
of
shape, or form.
person. Yeah,
So
anybody who don't mean them no harm. Like, I just don't want it to happen. But again, I don't want to waste too much of your time. I love you so much, T, and you'll be seeing me in the chat. Thank you so much for having.
oh, thank you. I appreciate you. I'll see you soon.
All
It's
right.
gonna be lit.
All right.
All right, bye bye. Um, let me address a comment real quick. Yansan, or Yansan, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry if I butchered it, but please don't say that. Thanks to Maisha. Maisha is also a victim of abuse. She absolutely at that time even had battered woman syndrome. And it's so important to try really hard to look into the mental. If you can't look into your own mental and self-reflect on why you even feel that it's okay to, because I understand it. It's kind of like you see a woman being abused on the street, and you, as a man, you might want to step in and be like, you want to stop that. But then like she might be like, go with the guy after you stop him abusing her. She might go back off with him, but you have to understand the psychological reasons of why she might do that. It's a woman that is not operating from a healthy state of mind. It's a woman that has been conditioned to accept abuse on that level, and she has spoken repeatedly on the fact that she was abused multiple times by him during their time together, and it got progressively worse because that's the type of that type of abuse is, it's not something that's just a one and done type of thing. That's an ongoing type of thing. This is a person that has no self-control, and he has even stated that multiple times. He didn't even know how to act going into a restaurant. He's mean mugging people, just minding their business. So this is an individual that's not operating with the full deck. And women fall in love with men like that every day. So please don't blame her. She has actually publicly apologized for her role in um, any of the women being encouraged to go over there as a result of her not pressing forward with putting his ass in jail. So that's not fair. And I just wanted to comment on that. Okay. Please don't be offended, but I think Maisha has spoken out multiple times since then and helped to expose what she went through while she was with him. And we need that to happen. I think more women need to do that when it comes to them being in abusive relationships with men that they once loved, and especially have a child with. And I think having a child with an abuser kind of takes it on a whole nother level. So you have to be kind of, I mean, you don't have to, but I ask that you please try at least, because that's kind of the compassionate thing to do, you know? You're in your feelings, Jen. Okay.
Hey,
Hi,
how are you
Jen.
doing?
Hi.
Hey, I just want to tell you thank you so much for what you do. And I love the fact that you try to show the human side of the ladies versus just showing him and showing his antics. And I just wanted to tell you I really appreciate that about you. And I was in the chat, but then I kind of dropped out and now I'm coming back. I really want to ask you two questions though. One question being, how do you feel when he drops into the chat?
I'm okay. So there's a reason why I've never, ever, ever wanted to have an interview with him or talk to him about anything. It's when he drops into the chat, I always know what he's going to say. It's the same old, same old. You are my reflections. You are all demons. And literally, when you think about the quote unquote knowledge that he teaches, I always feel like he's talking to himself. So I'm always amused and disgusted. But I just let the commenters have at him, because he's one person that I don't want anybody to hold back on telling exactly how they feel about him. He deserves every bit of it. He is an abusive monster, and he thinks it's okay. He thinks that it's supposed to be that way. He's an completely uncivilized individual. So I've blocked him before from coming into the chats, but sometimes I miss it, and then I'm not always in the live chats when there's a premiere, and so I hear about later on like, oh my God, he was in the chat. But you guys always handle him, so I don't even worry about it when he comes into the chat. It's just he is met with a barrage of truth serum, thanks to you guys. So I don't feel any kind of way about it. He tried to actually come onto a panel once that I had a while back. I think it was my first panel that I ever held on here with Kiss the Veil and a few others. And he tried to come up, and I was like, really? For one, the panel wasn't even about him. And that's how much he thinks that, everything is about him. But it wasn't about him that day. And of course, we didn't let him up. I don't have anything to say to him. I think that the only time that I would want to talk to him is at once he's in prison. We can have a conversation then from behind bars, basically.
That's where he needs to be.
Exactly.
That was one question that I had. The second question that I have, how do you feel about the whole Ryan thing? Because Ryan seemed very cloud chasey. I actually sat there and did some research on him. He's supposed to be like a pastor. So it's kind of conflicting for me because I feel like, well, maybe he was trying to help, but then a part of me is like, this dude's a straight cloud chaser. So from your point of view, what do you think about him?
So I'm going to be very sensitive in my response simply because there are a lot of people that are still supporting Ryan and his goals to bring awareness and to help take down this cult. Unfortunately, so for one, I've always supported Ryan from the start. When I first heard about his involvement and wanting to bring down the cult, I reached out and I provided information and what I thought could be some resources. And, Ryan kind of like was jumping from different platforms, trying to, gather information and understanding of what people were doing to try to, bring down the cult. And then we finally connected after, a little bit of,
Going back and forth.
there was a little bit of back. There was a little bit of, but then unfortunately, I feel that Ryan's intentions are good. I'm not sure if it's for clout or not. I really wouldn't even mind even if it was for that purpose. But I kind of didn't get that impression from him. And even if it was for clout, I mean, he obviously picked the wrong community to try to get clout in. We're a very melanated community, and there's a lot of distrust as it relates to non-melanated, especially men. And so he would definitely be barking up the wrong tree if it was for clout. So I want to believe that his heart was in the right place. Unfortunately, he was
I
falsely.
think
Go
I
ahead.
think he went about it wrong.
Yeah. I told him that. I agree.
He didn't know too much about it to begin with. I felt like he should have did more research and stayed behind the scenes. I even told him that on his page. Like, what are you doing? To stay behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Because the way you're going about it, it doesn't look good. It looks like you're trying to gain some kind of following or, then going on Beagle. And it was just too much.
I agree with that. I told him, you kind of should have, carried yourself a little bit differently. And then, once he was falsely accused of uh, some stuff on
Right. Yeah.
Instagram, which turned out to be untrue,
It wasn't
I
true.
actually personally reached out to him. I was kind of like surprised. I didn't really think it looked like him, but then again, you never know in the social media internet age. You just never
It
know.
kind of did, but
But
the
then
last names were different. That's how I knew that wasn't him.
yeah, and I didn't even know his last name. I kept trying to remember, and so I reached out to him. I was like, "This is not you, is it?" I said something to that effect, and he was so offended. And I understand. He was like, "You know what?" He even told me he was like he kind of offended me a little bit, but I didn't even get mad about it because I was like, "No, I like it's fine. I would not want to be called that either." But he was so offended that and I told him, I said, you kind of, made some enemies and you kind of called some people out and you wrongly. And so, it was kind of like energy. I think it was an energy exchange there.
Yeah.
However, that was wrong for him to be called something of that caliber that he clearly was not. Once you find out that he's not, it's like, okay, he's not really that. That's a really strong accusation. But then he got mad at me. And we kind of like had words a little bit, and he was like, remove my videos and I'm done. And I was like, Ryan, I
He doesn't have thick skin. You have to have thick skin when you're going
I know I
in the
told him that.
public.
I told him that. So I removed his videos. I deleted them off of he's like, delete my videos. And I'm like, see, you can't be like that. If you're really wanting to you take them down and you're really for the cause, you gotta have really thick skin in this type of environment. And you
Mm-hmm.
can't be moved and swayed by people's opinions and thoughts and feelings about you. You just have to have a clear goal in mind and push through and focus and do what you set out to do. And so I hope that he's able to gather the strength that he needs to, if he's really about it, to get back on track. And if not, then just, don't
Just leave it alone.
just leave
If
it alone. Exactly. Let
mm-hmm.
people do what they've been doing. I think that as a whole, um, as a community of people, including everyone in this chat today, I think that we have seen that there's been more progress just with the ex members than there's ever been, and the ex members are typically the ones that could ultimately take down a cult and bring down a cult leader. And so, as they gather strength, even if you think that they're culpable or accountable for things when they were under this mental manipulation and brainwashing and mind control, they can be the greatest catalyst in bringing him down and bringing awareness and deterring other people from getting themselves into the situation. And so, then it just kind of goes right back to what we've all been doing, and helping these women to find their strength and to find comfort in each other and to heal. And Richard earlier mentioned, or someone mentioned, therapy. And that's
Mm-hmm.
important too. And hopefully, they can work themselves up to that part as well. Therapy is expensive now, guys. It's not like it's
It's
cheap.
expensive, but I also feel that because of what they went through, that there that there are resources out there. Like there are people who are willing to help them. You get what I'm saying?
Yes,
But at the end of the day, it's easier for us to say, well, they need this and they need to do that. We're not in their shoes. The level of brainwashing, the level of abuse that they have gone through, we can only imagine. Some of us have been through some sort of that. So some of us, we can kind of understand why they are the way that they are. But the biggest, and I know a lot of people do not like her, and some people do, but let me tell you something. The most fearless person yet has been Velvet.
oh, she's always,
Velvet has said things that none of them have ever dared, even ex-members that have come up, that have never dared say.
yep,
And we need to stop it's like the abuse continues on. Every time someone tells her something negative, every time somebody says, well, you this and you that, she doesn't need that. Yes, I understand she might have, done some mean things. All of them probably have done some things that they're not proud of. But if we want to take him down and we want these people to get better and we want them to be free from this, we have to be more supportive. And if you're not going to say nothing, and if you don't have anything positive to say, I'm like that. If I'm just not going to tell you nothing, or I might say a little something. But the amount of trolling that they go through when they leave, you don't think that they're ashamed? You don't think that they're embarrassed when they leave?
absolutely,
They have to wear that every day of their lives.
yep.
So what good is it that we keep, not what I'm saying we, but not me, but people that do that, what good are you doing? You're no better than him. You're no better than him. You're sitting up there telling them that they're this and they're that. That's the same thing he's told them every day of their lives while they've been over there.
I agree.
So I think people need to stop. If you really care about this and you really care about these people and you want this to stop, we have to deal with them in a different way when they get out as the public, when they deal with the public on Beagle or whatever platform. We have to stop being this. We're pretty much, I'm saying we, but you know what I'm saying.
No, I
People who are like that need to stop being abusive. You're being just like him when you're doing that to them. You're doing the same thing. And yes, I understand. Some of them done some stuff that's shameful that, I get it. But if they've left and they're trying to be free, they're obviously trying to be better, why not support them?
I
And
agree.
that's my biggest issue with a lot of people who have nothing but negative things to say.
And that is
You
why
know,
we're having this panel tonight, because I couldn't take it anymore. I am, my moral compass just, I can't, like, I don't understand why people can't see past their own
none of us are perfect. So
no.
when you point the fingers at them, you need to point the fingers at yourself, because all of us have done something or said something that wasn't the best. You know what I'm saying? And again, this is a case study for the ages. Once this is said and done, there's going to be people that are going to pull up these videos and study this man
Absolutely. I
and
can I
study.
know that. I'm like, here you go for future psych classes and sociology classes.
Oh,
Here you
absolutely.
go. There's a well, and so many, all the other channel holders out there that are also documenting. Um, this is absolutely a case study, and it's like, hey, you want to live your life publicly in this way? Well, you're going to help people for generations to come. He thinks he's going to be a legend, but it's like,
For the wrong reasons.
Charles Manson thinks the same thing. I mean, David Koresh went down in infamy history. He's a legend too. And
Jim Jones.
Jim Jones, I mean, that's the legend of all legends. And this man
Yep,
convinced his own wife to drink the Kool-Aid too. So
sure
he didn't
did.
want to towards the end. His son was lucky enough to be away at a basketball game, and
He
his
sure
son,
was.
I'm
I
not
just seen a interview, an
right.
old interview with him on Oprah, and he was talking about, but had he been there, he probably would have drunk the Kool-Aid.
Exactly. No, yeah, but they didn't want to. He didn't want to, and they
Yeah, he didn't want to.
yeah. So it's like we gotta really understand that even the people there right now, they know deep down what's going on, and they need to, when once they leave, I always ease up once they leave, because I'm like, yes, they left. Even if they go
Right.
back, at least they left, because each time they leave,
They
it's
become stronger.
less, exactly, and it's less likely for them to go back. Even if they don't do go back, it's more likely that they're going to leave again. So that's kind of how I look at it.
It's an abusive relationship. Same thing with people in abusive relationships. They'll leave and then they'll come back. They'll leave. They'll come back, but eventually they're gonna run. When they run, they're gone. So it's the same thing with them. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, but thank you so much. We got a couple more people in the queue, but I kind of,
Absolutely. Let them come through. Thank you
yeah,
so
thank you
much,
so
T.
much. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate you participating and having the thoughts that you do have. You are a voice, a refreshing voice of reason, and you are appreciated here. No,
Thank you.
have a good
Have a
one.
good night.
You too. She Slaughter, I saw your comment about, you haven't seen any hard proof. So what? That's my response. I'm sure the Nexium cult, the family members and the people that were aware of that cult, on the outside, were thinking the same thing. I don't see any proof of this, and I don't see any proof of that. I'm sure the Nuwapians felt, the people that were investigating the Nuwapians felt the same way. Where's the proof? Where's the proof? But the proof is always in the pudding. And that's why it's going to take a collective effort, of ex-members, it's eyewitnesses, and once they gather their strength, we're hoping that it comes down to what it comes down to. But we also don't know what is going on the back end. He probably is being looked at this point. There's been so many people that have been working and moving behind the scenes, and there's certain things that deserve to be investigated at the very least, like Zoka's baby. Mama Dia was a different story because she was in Mexico. She was out of the country, so it was an international type of thing at that point. But you gotta realize that, and things take time, and just because you don't see it doesn't mean that it's not happening. We know exactly what's happening. So, that's why we got to kind of, you don't have to rally around the ex members, but people like me and who, kind of have the same sentiment that I do, understand that it's important for them to feel, empowered enough to do that, because his, hold on them is still, they're still struggling with that. They're still struggling with how to lessen that hold, and how to break themselves free of the manipulation that they went through. No matter if we think they're weak or not, doesn't matter. They still have to find their strength, and they have to old members have to do it. Well, that is true, but they told on themselves. So like you said, where's the evidence? um it's right there. They spoke on it. But it's a different matter when you're speaking on it on a video, and in that same vein you also say, well, we're not going to the authorities, we police our own community, which is what Shaka said. And a lot of men have that, not a lot of men and a lot of women have that mindset. But once the shit hits the fan, they still have that video that they can reflect back on. So someone's going to speak on it. I have complete faith in that. And there's many eyewitnesses to that event. So there's the proof. That proof is in the pudding. And the victim that day was Velvet. So, you know, she'll come around eventually. But guys, I know that there's more people in the queue. I don't know. Do we want to watch the video tonight, or do we want to do it tomorrow? At this point, I know it's really late for a lot of people. It's probably either 9:11, 10:11, or 11:11, depending on where you're at in the country. So tonight, hey, Soul Talker, tonight now. Okay. There's a few more people in the queue, and that tells me that we will have to do this again, guys, possibly tomorrow night. So if you've been waiting in the queue, I appreciate your patience. I'm sorry that I couldn't get to you, but we will do this again. I'll schedule something else this weekend. Please come back up. You will get first dibs. I'm actually going to take a screenshot. And if you do come back up and join the queue, then I will let you guys speak first in the order that you came. So thank you so much, you guys, for listening in and hanging with me tonight. I'm going to start the premiere shortly. So once you see it pop up on the screen, or if you don't see it, you might just want to check on the channel under videos, refresh, and see if the premiere is playing. And I will see you guys then. Thank you so much for your time tonight. I appreciate you all so much. The energy was wonderful. And I think that this is kind of what we need, that negative energy. It's really hard. Like, I can't vibe with that. Like, not, I have let it go on so long. And I get that we all have different opinions. Have your opinions, but just like, I don't know. I don't want to say don't go so hard, but just, I don't know, like, kind of weigh your words a little more carefully. Like, you guys know what I'm saying. I don't want to tell you what to do, but I just want to say, can you please bring a different kind of energy if you feel strongly about any of the ex members that have actually left and are trying to help bring awareness, because that's exactly what we need them to do. So, thank you all. Love you all. Appreciate you all. And I will see you soon. Peace and love to all of you. Good night.